Good day and welcome to another broadcast of Venture Capital Fund. In the event that you're joining me for the first time, my name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the multiple best-selling author for several books, including Manager's Toolkit and Billionaire Codes. These two books are already bestsellers, and I want to encourage you to get your copies. Inbox me, or you can log on to our sister company website, which is www.megamoneygy.com. Navigate shopping, navigate the front page, and you will be able to get information as to how you can either purchase these books online, or how you can make direct contact with me to make your order. All right. Today we continue on the journey of looking at business startup and investment capital. Now, when looking at this subject, what we're going to be doing is basically looking at business startup solutions. We will look at some of the problems, and we'll be looking at some of the solutions that we believe can really give business startup a fighting chance to be more successful, a fighting chance to be a major economic contributor. Small businesses across the world continue to play a very pivotal role in the economic development. The research has shown that small businesses create employment for a large part of the economy. All right, so the focus here is to basically just give some ideas and some solutions that can really position small businesses to be more strategic, be better positioned to contribute to social and economic development. In starting this program yesterday, we looked at the concept that we call business startup and business modeling. And in this program, we really dig in deep and in explaining what business modeling really represents. And business modeling is largely the culture of your organization. And we dig deep into this. So I want to encourage you that in the event that you missed this program yesterday, I want to encourage you to go back and look at the program that was published yesterday. Some of the unique outcome that came out yesterday as we begin to look at the solution. One of the things that we established is that business startup are not in that strategic position to have a strong ambience and a strong aesthetic from the get-go, from the start of their business. Why? Because of the high capital associated with creating the strong ambience and strong aesthetic. The other thing that we looked at here as relates to ambience and aesthetics, many business startups, they are not going to be in a position of strength to actually own their physical space and to really brand that physical space in a way that truly make the strongest impact on potential customers or existing customers. Now, that definitely is a challenge to most business startups because in most cases you would need these things to be able to make a strong first impression, to be able to get past issues of trust and confidence and credibility in the eyes of the potential customers. So it definitely can pose a challenge. If you have a virtual space, all right, if you have a virtual storefront, if you have a strong, a virtual platform that has very unique ambience, sometimes having that physical space is the booster. The solution that we looked at yesterday is we can have governments, we can have private-public partnership, or we can have private sector by themselves, because this is a major commercial venture that we're looking at here. If we can help anyone design that, develop something that we're going to call a branded office unit. Can you imagine setting up branded office units with perhaps 100 units? That is creating an opportunity to put 100 entrepreneurs to work. That is also an opportunity for those entrepreneurs to create jobs. And if each one of them create jobs for five persons, that translate into hundreds of persons being employed. That's going to have a positive economic trickle-down effect. It's going to have a positive social trickle-down effect to the economy itself. So these are some of the solutions that we would have looked at yesterday. Today, I want us to look at business startup and market access. And what we will attempt to do is to combine branded office unit with business startup and market access in a way to show the positive impact that can happen when you find resources and talent and technical support in these areas can really come together, can marry together, form symbiotic relationships, and to achieve a common end. And that is to really provide that fighting chance for small, medium-sized businesses to be scaled with local, regional, and international relevance. So today we will be looking at business startup and market access. But just before I get into today's program, do permit me to introduce myself. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the multiple best-selling author for several books, including Manager's Toolkit and Billionaire Codes. These two books are already on the bestseller list, meaning that they are already bestsellers. And I want to encourage you to get your copies of these books, and they will certainly wow you. We have mentor coaches that are going to work with you to understand every chapter, every paragraph. All you would need to do is to join our Readers Club, join our Writers Club, join our Speakers Club, and we have subject matter experts to really work with you to really help you to better enjoy this book. One more thing I want to say before we get started, that if you're looking at this program for the first time and you have never liked and subscribed, do like and do subscribe to this program. The subscription button is just below in the screen, and you can also find us at Venture Capital Fund. It's a YouTube channel, and you can subscribe. So if you're in business and you want to have information that can really help you to build a better business, build a better brand, and if you want to know more about funding, finance, how to create debt and how to up-level debt and how to reduce your debt cost by using strategic debt mitigation program, this is the program for you. So let's get the ball rolling today. So strap yourself in. Today's topic, we are looking at business startup and market access. Market access, again, will largely depend on the kind of market intelligence that you have. So one of the things that we continue to emphasize is that in starting a business, you want to ensure that you have critical market intelligence. In this case, the kind of market intelligence that we talked about is not only the market intelligence that allows you to identify your target market, identify the size of your target market, identify the geographical dispersion of the market. All of those information are very important, yes. But in this case, you also want to understand market dynamics. And in understanding market dynamics, you want to really invest the time to understand what is the SWOT analysis and what is the PES analysis in getting into your business. These are critical information as it relates to market access, because you might have the consumers who might be willing to buy the product. You might do the research to clearly understand the needs, wants, and expectation, dreams, hopes, and aspiration, the lifestyle, culture, and social class of the specific target market. But then there are other market dynamics, there are other market realities that can really prevent you from accessing the market. And these are things that you need to know before you make any investment into a particular business model, into a particular business portfolio. You want to know this. And in most cases, what we see is that the business startup don't have this critical market intelligence. So the business startup will have difficulty in accessing market because you simply start your business from the perspective that you want to do business, you want to cash flow. You hear that doing business perhaps is the fastest way to get rich, and you simply start the business without ensuring that you have the mentor, the coach, the advice, the professional financial advisors, PFAs next to you to really give you the critical, information that really allows you to make informed and educated decision about the market realities. And now in the absence of this, you are not even making secondary market research so as to have secondary intelligence. You're not making primary market research so as to have primary market intelligence. What you are using here is something that we call speculative data. And that is a very risky way of doing business. You simply start a business because you speculate that someone is making money from it and you're going to make money from it, or you speculate that there is a demand for this product or this service, and you start the business. The research is showing this. Most businesses that are small business startups that are getting started, they have an assumption that the demand will be great. And why do I call this speculative? Because the kind of market intelligence that you need to know that there's a demand for your products and services. You need to know the size of your target market. Why you need to know the size? Because it is by knowing the size you can determine your market viability. And it's by knowing your market viability, you can then make a highly educated and informed decision as to if you should get into that type of business, that type of market. You also have to look at other market realities. So there's a range of things that is necessary and information that is necessary for you to have when you're trying to position your business, your brand, your idea into the market's place to optimize success, to cash flow maximize. So it is highly recommended that for business startup, part of the business solution is, if you don't have the time, the talent, perhaps the resources to go do that research yourself, to consult with a business consultant, consult with persons who would have been in the business environment for many years and can really help you navigate some of the rough terrains of the business environment. So market intelligence is important, absolutely important. It will certainly help with the market access. Now, market access also has to do with market relevance. We talk about this a lot in previous broadcasts. Your business type, your product type, your service type, the branding has to be relevant to the specific target market. We briefly talk about that. So whatever business you're getting into, whatever service you intend to provide, what has to stand out and dominating how it stands out is the issue that we call brand relevance. Because if you have a brand, a product or service that is not relevant, is not immediate to the needs, wants, and expectations of your target market, the issue of access is going to be somewhat limited. All right, it's going to be somewhat limited. It may be relevant, but it may not be an immediate need. And one of the things that we continue to look at, because today the world uses fossil fuel to power industries and power companies and power communities. And in spite of the fact that the world is talking about CO2 emissions and global warming and so forth, and the negative impact that those things have, the world can forecast also that the time will come that there will be a significant depletion in the fossil fuel. Having that be a reality, they're also forecast into the future about clean energy grid. And the clean energy grid is what is going to reverse, greenhouse gas, is what is going to reverse CO2 emission, is what is going to likely to reverse climate change and save the the planet and save the human race. But what is happening here, that is absolutely necessary. And it's relevant, but guess what? It's not immediate. The attitude of the people in the world is clearly showing that there's no immediacy. I mean, around the big economies that are responding to climate change, you probably have less than 20% of the global population, the global big economies that are responding to that. We have countries like China and England who are definitely the trendsetter in this regard. But again, depending on where you are, I just spoke about SWOT and PEST, PEST dealing with political, social, economical, and technological issues. I don't want to sound complicated, but these are all things that you need to know. These are all issues that really influence your access to the market. What I'm saying to you here is that if you decide to perhaps develop a clean energy grid, depending on which part of the world that you're at, the cost of startup, these are things that can significantly influence the level of demand, the kind of access that you're going to have to the market. There are push and pull factors that influences the access to that market. And again, I don't want to sound complicated, but this is just a quick example that I want to give. A clean energy grid across the world is necessary to save planet Earth. But in spite of the fact that it is necessary, the attitude of the people in the world doesn't see it as being an immediate relevance, all right? And because of that, the demand for it is not as high as you would want it to be. So these are things that you have to be aware of. It is necessary, but is there any immediacy? Is it relevant right now? Many may say yes, but but it depends on the attitude of people towards it. And so for the attitude of people, particularly in the large part of the world, doesn't make it a #1 priority. In doing business, you want to know this. The field of business that you're going into, you want to know that there is an immediate demand for it. It's relevant. And once you start the production, start your distribution, you're going to get immediate sale. One of your primary objectives in doing business, yes, is about adding value and fixing problems, but you want to cash flow maximize within the shortest possible time. And failing to understand these things, it can really affect how your business, your brand, your idea is accommodated into that market. Something else that I want us to talk about, and we're talking about it now, it's market accommodation and market enablers are important issues to look at, particularly when dealing with business startup, all right? And market accommodation and market enablers. As I did say, we have a push and pull factor into that. The natural realities in terms of doing business, it might be highly competitive. So it makes entry into the market somewhat difficult. And when you have an intense market platform where persons are competing on price, persons are competing on quality, persons are competing on customer care, persons are competing on innovation, person meaning the entrepreneur, the business leaders. If you cannot keep a pace with all that is happening here, the element of those market dynamics can certainly make it tremendously difficult for smaller businesses to get in. Why again, you're going to find that the bigger businesses that has years of experience in doing what they're doing, they would have been able to establish confidence and trust and credibility in the eyes of the consumers. Does not necessarily mean that the product innovation that the small business is going to be coming with is not going to be as innovative as the bigger business or better than the bigger business, but then they have to get through a growth curve, and we talk about it, all right? So you get past growth curve 1, which is your brand trait optimization. You build a better brand. You got to go through the other core, which we call brand visibility. You got to get to the next curve that we call brand reach. You have to reach your specific target audience in their community, in their village, in their country. You have to position the brand to be able to reach that. The brand has to make impact, and that will depend on the brand traits optimization that you would have developed. And once you make an impact, you come to another stage that we call brand conversion. The cost of doing all this for a business startup is not the easiest thing. It is not the easiest thing to bring them through all of this. And now to bring them to brand trust optimization, brand confidence optimization, and brand credibility optimization. So it is a growth curve that the business startup will have to go through in order to really access the market and really position themselves in the market with some position of strength. And it's not the easiest thing for many business startups to be able to achieve. So we're looking at a number of the problems that are facing with small businesses, business startup, and then we're going to look at some of the solutions. The last thing that I want to say before I come to look at the solutions is that in your business startup, everything that I've said earlier, you want to look at it. But equally important is for you to ensure that you have a powerful, a killer marketing and sales team in place. You want to have your marketing and sales capital in place. And I would say to businesses, business leaders, you must be able to sell. You must be able to do marketing. You must be able to have a team, a strong team that understand your brand unique selling proposition, that understand your value proposition, that understand your differentiating factors, that understand how your brand is going to add value and fix problems and make people's life better. They must understand it and then put themselves in the position of strength to be able to leverage your brand intention value trait to really touch and transform and impact the lives of potential and existing customers. If you don't have a strong sales team and marketing team, you don't have a business. You don't have a business. You may have an excellent brand, but have an excellent brand doesn't mean that you have a good business. So part of your business model is to ensure that you have a very strong team to be able to market and brand and get you out there. And again, I want to encourage you to look back at some of the earlier video that we would have done dealing with branding and marketing. This team has to know how to, attract attention. They have to know how to pique interest. They have to know how to really connect with that customer. You have to know this. We carry through a systematic approach in terms of how these things can be done. In some of the earlier broadcasts, we look at all of these issues. We look at attention grabber, we look at interest speaker, we look at desire influencer, we look at attention influencer, and last we went on to look at a few other things. Impact, game changer. How are you going to make impact? Now you must be able to get past the phase of attention, get past the phase of interest, get past the phase of desire, to come to that point of really making that person take action. And once you get them to that point of taking action, you want to make sure that you're making impact, because it's only by making impact you can then make conversion. And when you get a first-time user, you just don't want a first-time user, you want to make that first-time user lifetime consumers. And these are all systems that you need to have in place. Again, because of the high cost attached to this, you find many business startups are not able to leverage the gamut of information that are out there to really help them to scale their business in the way that they would like to. So again, when you hear and look at the global statistics, that over 50% of businesses that get started fail within the first 5 years, these are all reasons why those businesses fail. We see excellent products, excellent services, great brand that come in the market and drop off of the market for, these reasons. We have done the deep dive, we have done the research, and these are some of the reasons that we are actually seeing. So you need a killer sales and marketing team that can really be your hinge guy, your hit guys, that can really get out there and connect in a special way, connect in a good way with potential and existing customers. So we have looked at a lot of the problems here that are faced with businesses. Now let's try to just dig in a little bit into some of the solutions that we can look at. Now, everything that I've talked about here just now can come under one heading, and we're going to call it Market Intelligence Unit. Can you imagine that all of these business startups that need access to the, information on business model and information on market access, they can go to a depository, a bank, an intelligent bank that really understand what we they function as a market intelligence unit, and they are providing three critical services to the business community. One, they are providing guaranteed link to buyers. What if you have a market intelligence unit that is providing guaranteed link to buyers, to consumers? They have this intelligence. They know your business type. They know the consumer type. They know where they're at. They know their spending power, and they can make that connection for you. Just think about how much this would remove a lot of the challenges and stress that businesses go through. I guess among small business leaders, they have perhaps the highest stress level because of the energy that has to be put into, think tanking that business, think tanking how to make it work, think tanking how to navigate the challenges, because I can tell you, doing business is not the easiest thing. But once you do it and you do it right and you get the right support around you, you're going to be able to scale in a very special way. And you're going to be able to do a lot for yourself, for your family, for your customers, for people around you, your workforce, and so forth. But what if we have a market intelligence unit that can do this for the number of businesses? And I'm going to link this back to branded office unit just now. So three things that we want this market intelligence unit to do: create linkage to consumers. The second thing, influence friendly business environment. You want your business environment to be friendly. Again, the environment can be influenced by a number of factors. We talk about pest analysis. What is your politicians doing to really inspire an environment where it is easy to do business, where it is friendly to do business, where racial biases is removed, where social bias is removed. And I think that politicians, in terms of the pest, because when we do the pest analysis, we're looking at political issues, the political climate, political realities. We are looking at the economic realities, we are looking at the social realities, and we're looking at the technological realities. So the pest in this case is the P represents political environments to nurture a business startup. And there's a couple of things that I will say later on about our economy. I do believe that our economy in South America, Guyana, is slowly positioning itself to really develop healthier relationship with the business community. We are seeing this coming from the new administration. In fact, the last budget that they had was dubbed the private sector budget. I do believe that having a private sector budget, having the political will from our leader to truly talk to the issues of private sector development, private sector as the engine of growth, and provide that enabling environment and provide the support for businesses can go, is another way in which we could seriously fast track this economy, seriously reduce poverty, seriously innovate new products and services, and seriously ensure that we can build businesses that has local, regional, and international relevance, but not only have this relevance, but the systems are set to ensure that we can help them to integrate their products and services and brand across border. So when we talk about the P in the PES, these are all things that are possible in the environment itself. So step one, we want a market intelligence unit to be able to provide market access to create that link. Second, you want the market intelligence unit to be able to influence a positive or friendly business environment. This market intelligence unit perhaps can be public-private sector driven. It can be private sector driven with the right, connections, or it can be public sector and driven. Those technicalities I'm certain can be worked with, but I'm looking at this as a solution to help many young entrepreneur business startup to get over some of their hurdle. The next strength that we want this market intelligence unit to have is something that we call the ability to negotiate win-win outcomes for all stakeholders, win-win business outcome for all stakeholders, meaning that there's no losers, they're all winners. The local sector has access to land to innovate new crop life cycle, and countries across the region, across the world need crops. So you create a linkage, so you negotiate win-win situation. Win-win situation, you have access to livestock, you have access to crop, you up level it into value-added production, and you create global distribution. Win-win situations can be created. Job creation, economic diversification because of a diverse production portfolio, integrating our businesses across border, branding ourselves, locally, regionally, internationally. So there's so much of positive spin-off can happen. Can you imagine now that the market intelligence unit is now linking with the branded office unit? You have 100 entrepreneurs in the branded office unit who are now provided with the right intervention to ensure that they have strong business model. They have very excellent business model. You bring in the business innovators, the financial advisors, the business coach to really ensure that you work with them to ensure that they get this right. And when you get this right, you now move them across to the market intelligence unit. Now they are ready. The market intelligence unit has created all of the linkages for them to really move, leapfrog their businesses, leapfrog the economy. And I'm saying, as a business consultant, I can see all of this. All of this is quite possible. We have learned that where there is a will, there is a way. Where there's a healthy, friendly environment to stimulate a social and economic activity, that speaks about the will. We now have to synergize to make these things happen. All right. So I trust that you find today's topic interesting. We talk about business startup and investment capital. We haven't come to the investment capital parts yet, because accessing capital is not just about accessing capital. The business modeling has to be right. So what we looked at over yesterday and today is everything relating to your business modeling and how you need to think tank this and possibly negotiate and to make things happen for businesses. So yesterday we looked at business startup and business modeling. I trust that you can look back at that if you missed it. Today we looked at business startup and market access. And in concluding today's topic, we did combine some of the outcome from yesterday and today. Yesterday outcome, we talked about a branded office unit to help entrepreneurs. Today we talk about a market intelligence unit combining with the branded office unit to provide a killer in a healthy way. unique set of services coming together to really help stimulate business activity, to help stimulate job creation, to help stimulate um, business growth across border and branding the economies across region, across the world. Quite possible in the things that we'll look at. So I trust that you would have enjoyed it again. And if you're looking at this program for the first time, I want to encourage you to give us a thumbs up. And at the bottom of the screen, you will see the subscription button. Just press that and press the bell so you'll be the first to get these programs on a daily basis. I did say that we're targeting business startup, we're targeting small, medium, and large scale businesses with the content that we are providing. In our content also, we talk a lot about financial intelligence because we bring to you new financial models that can help you to save hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars on the debt that you're creating to really scale your business. Now, tomorrow we'll be looking at business startup and funding source. And perhaps we're going to spend the next 3 days looking at business startup and your funding source, because what we're going to do, we're going to dig in deep to what it takes to access funding from the commercial financial sector, what it takes to access funding from the investment financial sector, and we'll also examine what is smart capital market, and perhaps what is a better way in which you could access funding to really get your vision on the ground. And let me quickly say that this program comes to you with the kind compliments of Venture Capital Inc., Venture Capital Fund, Global Branding and Marketing. And our mission is to position our clients, employees, and strategic partners to understand, create, and leverage passive income cash flow, build multiple streams of income, leverage smart investment strategies in order to build generational wealth. In our program, you will also learn about financial intelligence in the commercial financial sector, financial intelligence in the investment financial sector, financial intelligence and smart capital market, and smart financial intelligence for a sustainable livelihood. Our mission also is to really help you to understand that financial intelligence goes beyond your ability to make money and maximize your disposable income. It addresses the issue of understanding the global financial system and leveraging this intelligence to create good debt cash flow, minimize existing debt financial portfolio while maximizing financial and equity capital gain. The understanding of the commercial financial sector, investment financial sector, and smart capital market are an important body of knowledge for you to have in the global landscape of financial intelligence. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession, a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the multiple best-selling author for Billionaire Codes, Managers Toolkits, and Billionaire Codes. At Venture Capital Fund, Global Branding and Marketing, we have a team of dynamic persons. We have a team of PFAs, professional financial advisors, personal financial advisors, to really help you to build a unique financial model that's going to help you to significantly cash flow maximize. We have a team of economists. We have a team of business consultants, accountants that are here to work with you to combine knowledge. We have over 75 years of combined knowledge that are really willing to listen to your business ideas, listen to your dreams, and pour our wisdom into your business ideas to really help you to fast track the development of your vision. So I trust you would have enjoyed. Do subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in person and seeing you on the other side. So be blessed until the next broadcast. See you on the other side.